And we are alive. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gym of the Crypto episode 1087. Today is Thursday, March 30th, 2023, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 10-ish. And we know, yes, we have been slipping in and out the last couple of weeks. I had to celebrate Bitcoin Day's birthday, of course, that just passed. And the weather here in California, Southern California, has been terrible. So unfortunately, our power has been on and off and on the fritz. But we are back to bringing that more crypto news. Top stories of the day. SEC's Gensler seeks $2.4 billion in funding to chase down crypto misconduct. Elizabeth Warren is pushing the Senate to ban your crypto wallet. Matt Damon reveals why he appeared in Crypto.com's most infamous ad. And VeriDAO is actually reaching out to the SEC government, and they want your help with it as well, and more. But first and foremost, let's go ahead and take a quick look at these prices. Let me see if I can bring this up. Of course, we're using Coin Market Cap today. No affiliation with them. It's just who he normally uses. That's one of the most popular ones out there. Let me go ahead and bring up these prices. Bitcoin is coming in hot today. I know a lot of you all are excited. Bitcoin's at $28,470, up 0.15%. Ethereum's at $1,794, down 0.88%. You have BNB at number 4 at $316.41, down 0.10%. Ripple at number 6 at 53 cents, down 2.35%. And number 10, Solana is all back in the mix at $20.58, down 2.78%. So those are your tokens of the day. The top 10, of course, trending. Arbitrum is still trending, up 10%, 9% from yesterday. XRP is still trending, and Shiba Inu. I heard Bitcoin Zay talk about Arbitrum yesterday. And now the ZKs. We're going to go through that. It looks like ZK Doge is a token that is been recently added. Character AI, that is right. Another AI thing. I saw Bitcoin Zay mention that the powers that be were considering stopping the movement and the building of AI. The last is the World State, another recently added coin. So who knows what all of those are or what they'll actually be used for, right? That's our 22,000 cryptocurrencies out there right now. All right, let me see if I'm not sure why the chat's not actually being brought up. There we go. Bring up the chat. Say what's up to everybody in the chat. It's not coming up on one screen for whatever reason. I don't know what's going on. How many developers? Satoshi Slim, Fanteezy, BK Born, Best I Raised, BK Crypto, Wisdom Bars, Chris Minka. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. PFC Wells going on track. Weekend and crypto has been awesome. Make sure you're checking them out. As well as the other shows on our channel has been, doing a great job. Simon Family Ventures has been doing awesome as well. So make sure you all are checking out these shows. All right, top story of the day. This isn't a surprise. This isn't. I'm excited about this top story of the day. Is definitely an I told you so moment. And I have to play what I always have to play, and that is my American Gangster. Let me play my American Gangster real quick.
Man walks around with $50,000 and show a coat and never even bought me a cup of coffee. There's something wrong there. Pay your bills, Frank?
I don't know what you're talking
Do you pay your bills, I asked you?
If you are not getting your share, maybe you need to talk to the chief of police.
What's my share? Because you don't even know me. Maybe I'm special.
You are special.
You see that right there? Special Investigations Unit. Special. Get it? 10 grand. First of each month. Deliver it right here.
Listen, people, I know that's 36 seconds, but it's worth every second of it because it correctly describes what we're seeing here in real time. I've been saying it for the longest. I've been saying that these guys and gals in these regulator positions are acting like gang members, the way they've been prosecuting our own American companies. And essentially, they're only doing it because, like most gang members, they just want more money. I've been screaming that for the longest. I'm like, watch what happens with the SEC and the CFTC and all these other people when they keep screaming crypto's bad or they're trying to criminalize and all this. They're literally just trying to create a way for them to go to the government and say, we need more of a budget for them to get paid more, hide some of the money, and then pay their friends with all different types of government contract. I know the game in and out, people. All right. But that is what's going on here. We've been saying it for forever. And finally, Gensler, the gang boss of the Northeast, comes out and says exactly what's on his mind and what he wants. And no surprise, is money. That's right. SEC's Gensler seeks $2.4 billion in funding to chase down crypto misconduct. One thing I want to point out to you all real quick, because I know how some of you are. Even at $2.4 billion, there'll be some diddly dander Ned Flanders out there. There will be a Ned Flanders out there who defends this and says, well, it's only $2.4 billion. The crypto market's billions of dollars now. The SEC need this to protect people and to regulate, and they'll do the whole Uncle Sam spiel or whatever. And to those people, I say this. Once again, you're looking at this in a very small light. You don't see the broad picture. You're only seeing a microcosm of it. The United States government does not work with today we'll ask for this and that will be it. And you know, we'll ask for money today. We won't ever ask for money again. We won't raise those stakes and everything will be happy in our land. Like, that's not the way it works. The way the United States government works is we're going to take all of it. Now, we're going to try and take all of it initially. And if everybody pushes back, then fine, we'll come back in and take all of it slowly. And that's essentially what's going to happen here. Gary Gensler will be the first chairman or whatever commissioner of the SEC to ask for this money. He will receive some of it, and he'll just keep this going until the next commissioner comes. He'll ask or she'll ask for more, so on and so forth. Next thing you know, next 15 or 20 years, that $2.4 billion budget to the SEC is going to balloon to $15 to $20 billion, to $30 billion. Next thing you know, you're going to be looking at the market cap of fucking Coinbase for the SEC's crypto division, people. I am telling you, this is how it's about to go down. Year one, first ask is $2.4 billion. Too much if you ask me. That's the first year. Give it another 3 to 4 to 5 years and see how much the SEC asks for. They're going to dwarf this $2.4 billion number, but that's what he's asking for now. And shout out to Gary Gensler for finally letting your nuts hang and just doing what all gang bosses do, demanding the money. Like, that's what's up, man. You know, you dragged your feet in the mud about this for a long time. You kept saying you want to protect everybody. Hey, I knew what time it was. I was waiting for the axe, and here's the axe. United States Securities and Exchange Commission Chair Gary Gensler says the regulator is spread thin and needs additional funding to keep up with increased complexity in the capital markets. First and foremost, adding money to this crypto problem will not solve the real issue in the SEC, and that's education. All right? No matter how much money you throw at them, if they're not being properly educated on what cryptocurrency is and what DeFi is and what some of these new protocols are on these applications, they're lost in the water. We're not throwing any money toward education, so I'm not sure where this money is going toward. Misconduct, again, this has been debunked. There's less than 1% of crypto transactions that are actually criminal and nefarious in nature, so I'm not sure why we're putting $2.4 billion to less than 1% in the market. And then third, you can't keep up with the increased complexity of the traditional market. I keep saying it. The SEC and our regulators are getting their ass kicked by the Jeff Bezos, the Elon Musk, the JP Morgans. The big companies of the world are destroying the SEC and regulators out there. They have no answer for these multi-billion-dollar, trillion-dollar companies. So for them to say, hey, we need more money so we can go in there and fix crypto, come on, man. You haven't fixed the traditional sector, and that's like addition, right? Crypto, you're talking about like, you know, some in-depth algorithmic equations compared to the traditional sector, which is literally 2 + 2. You come over to crypto, you're talking about 2 squared plus 2 minus 2 times 2 divided by 2 to the, you know what I mean? Like, the crypto equation is way more difficult to solve than the traditional one. So I cannot believe, once again, that this whole publicity run and narrative is about coming to this safe haven of the crypto market, when the reality is that they cannot even secure people. A traditional bank just failed. Silicon Valley Bank or group and all, like, the traditional banks are failing in front of you. And instead of trying to fix the traditional banks, they're like, yeah, we know they're failing in front of you, the traditional banks, but that's because of crypto. So let's bring more money and resources to crypto. Listen, this is a gang leader doing what gang leaders do. And that's extort money. All right. I'm not mad. I just wish they would come out and say, and this is the guy right here. This is the guy we're letting take Americans for $2.4 billion. This is the guy right here. And again, if you don't know who Gary Gensler is, let me go ahead and pull him up. Gary Gensler, a.k.a. Mr. Burns. And I mean, in personality and picture as well. If this isn't Mr. Burns in personality, a guy who wants all the money, He wants every little penny that there is. This is the guy right here. He's operating exactly like the guy off The Simpsons. It's kind of crazy. Here, let me share this page. I'm sharing the wrong page. Hold on one moment. There it is. There it is. There's old Gary Gensler and Mr. Burns. This is the guy who's taking Americans $2.4 billion. You got to love it. You got to love it. All right. But yeah, going back to this SEC article, United States Securities and Exchange Commissioner Chair Gary Gensler has thrown his support behind U.S. President Joe Biden's request to allocate a record $2.4 billion in funding for the regulator, highlighting the ongoing need to crack down on misconduct in the cryptocurrency industry. In prepared testimony for the March 29th budget hearing with the House Appropriations Committee, Gensler said the additional funding was needed to keep up the pace of innovation, adding rapid technological innovation in the financial markets had led to misconduct in emerging and new areas, not least in the crypto space. Addressing this requires new tools, expertise, and resources. This will allow the SEC to hire 170 additional staff, most of whom will work within its enforcement and examination division. So again, they are literally hiring more people to try to catch more American companies who are trying to innovate in this space. As a cop on the beat, we must be able to meet the match of bad actors. Thus, it makes sense for the SEC to grow along with the expansion and increased complexity in the capital markets. And once again, I think this is one of the biggest issues. Since when has a regulator been a cop on the beat? This is the problem now. That's like a police officer coming out and saying, like, yeah, we're at war and, you know, we just got to win and everything. It's like, well, if you're at war, that means you're killing people. And if you're at war with your own citizens, like, what does a win look like? How many citizens do you kill before the police get their win? So this is the same thing. It's like a regulator talking about like a cop on the beat. It's like, well, you're not a cop on the beat. You're actually not a cop on the beat. Like, you're literally just supposed to be watching the markets to make sure there isn't any extreme wrongdoing or extreme activity in either end of the market, any type of aggressive activity. You're supposed to monitor those movements and let people know about it, and stop the actors that are like almost clearly bad, not the ones that are like, oh, they're innovating, they might be breaking a law or two in the gray line. No, you're supposed to be stopping people who are like, no, this thing is legitimately top to bottom, evading everything, breaking everything, and trying to remain a secret. Like, that is not what's going on in the majority of the market. Gensler again described crypto as the Wild West, suggesting the industry is rife with non-compliance, and that crypto investors are putting their hard-earned assets at risk in a highly speculative asset class. Again, why does a third party care about what you do with your money and value unless they want it? That is the only reason why they care, because they're saying, again, we go back to the girlfriend debate. No, she's not allowed to talk to nobody else. She's only mine. She can only date me. It's not fair for her to date anybody else. She's not compliant. And it's like, but bro, like, what you consider compliant, what you want this woman or this man to do for you to be considered them in compliance, is actually illegal and is actually pretty morally wrong. To me, that's the same as the SEC right now. They're like, they're not in compliance. It's like you're trying to put a 1930 or 1940 law next to a modern digital company. So no, the compliance isn't there because it was never created for it to be compliant under those terms. So we'll see what happens. Again, we'll see the SEC actually gets that money. It would not surprise me, especially under Biden. The administration gave the big U billions of dollars. So to throw an extra couple of billion to the SEC, it doesn't seem far-fetched. But again, what you need to be watching is how this budget will balloon. $2.4 billion this year. Let's check this out in another 3 to 4 years and see what that number is. Again, I'm telling you, it's going to be more, unfortunately. But we'll take a peek at it. Let's see what's going on. PFC Will say you caught that cop reference too. Yeah, of course I caught the cop reference. It was crazy. This is like, this is the problem. Like, Gary Gensler is really in the SEC office. Like, yeah, we're fighting crime today. We about to SWAT team. Like, bro, you need to calm down, my boy. Like, that is not what your office does. So this whole, we need more enforcement agents and stuff, man. It's going to be crazy. Gene says, you're right. They can't fix the OTC stock market. They talk about crypto. Yeah. I'm not even talking OTC. I was talking traditional, but yeah, let's talk pink slips, people. They can't control the penny stock market. And you think they're going to come here and stop this? No, they're not. And again, I'm reporting on this and sensationalizing it because it is sensational and it's super crazy. But I mean, when the bare bones of it, you know what it is that they just want their cut. All right, like it is not about protecting or saving or educating or hiring more. It's literally about
From here on, nothing goes down unless I'm involved. No blackjack, no dope deals, no nothing. A nickel bag gets sold in the park. I want in.
That's all. That's literally people. Like, we just sensationalize the story because it's crazy. But when it comes down, just like any old thug out there, they just want money. All right. Like, they just want your money. They don't want to save you, protect you, switch regulations, switch laws, and that's too much work. Can't we just have a cut of all your money you've been spending? All right, this is a new market. I just want some of your money. And again, for me, I wish they just come out and say it. Be like, look, you got to pay to play. All right. I wish they just come out and tell us. So we'll be like, all right, got it. To me, that would be the clearest instruction that any regulator or politician could give this market, is just for them to come out and say, hey, you are officially on game time, and this is how we're working. As Humney said, it's the thuggish, ruggish bone. I love it. What else we get? Let's see. Laura Smith said that's normal, even though he's bugging for $2 billion. Exactly. I mean, that's what I said. So, again, nothing too new here with these stories. They're kind of interesting, though. They're always interesting. Here's another story. Again, nothing too new. I'm going to prepare you all for this next story. All Pocahontas, I think this is Pocahontas we're about to cover. All she's looking for is money, too. The next story, Elizabeth Warren is pushing the Senate to ban your crypto wallet. People, again, I can't even explain it, so I'll just please ask you to use your own brain. Don't use any narrative out there, not mine, not the mainstreams, not anyone. Think about a crypto wallet on your phone. All right, you just download a crypto wallet, you got Bitcoin wallet on your phone. What should be illegal about that? All right, and let's say you are on the fence about the legality. Let's put this a different way. Do you want to use your tax-paying money? Should we use our tax-paying money to make wallets on your phone illegal? People, do you understand? Again, this is about to be a money play. I'm not stupid, but it's just the fact of how stupid it is that they're actually pushing this out there and people will go with it. Taxes right now on average are what, 20%? Let's say 20%. I don't know. I know in California, for me and some other people, you're looking at 35, all right? But let's say it's 20% for the average American, or 15% or something. That means out of every dollar, 15 cents is being taken, people. So what you're saying is that, hey, for crypto wallets, let's go ahead and either out of that 15 cent we're taking, we either take some of that, or we add another cent or two, 17 cent we'll take. Maybe we'll do 17%, and we'll do that to crypto. You want to put more of our taxpayer money to figuring out or trying to decide if crypto wallets, which are now widely used for the past 14 years, if we should retroactively make them illegal and use resources to actually do this. Something that, by the way, even if we put it in writing, would not be able to be enforced. Literally, they can't even stop crypto mixers. They're arresting people who use VPNs and create new code. You think they're going to stop? At this point, hundreds of wallets and new ones on the horizon, and literally wallets can be made with the old code, using open source code, and just literally plastered online. You're telling me that she believes we can stop this? I'm telling you, we cannot come anywhere close to stopping it. And now that she's actually saying, hey, we want to make these illegal, whatever, we want to ban these, I'm telling you, she's doing it for a money play. If she can say, yes, these are illegal, we can ban these, so on and so forth. Now we need a task force. And now not only does the SEC need $2.4 billion, hey, Elizabeth Warren's task force, she needed another couple billion to make this dream happen. People, it is a money play, and it's ridiculous. And again, this shows the lack of education for them to even suggest this, something that will lead us to literally use and lose all our resources while nothing changes at all. I cannot believe this is being suggested, but let's take a peek at it. Again, this is Elizabeth Warren. I think they used to call her Pocahontas. I can't remember. She's back with anti-money laundering act that would, among other things, make it mostly illegal for you to use your own crypto wallet. And again, I only say to you, ask why. Why would Elizabeth Warren want to ban your crypto wallet? Just ask why. She wants the money in the wallet, people. It's so simple. Like, it's just so simple. And again, for me, I would be way happier if she said, fine, you can have your private crypto wallets, but I want in right now. Like this, I'd rather her just come out instead of just saying I want to ban it today. I'd rather her come out in the headline and say Elizabeth Warren says if she doesn't have $1 million in Bitcoin by the end of the day, she's going to consider banning crypto wallets. Well, hey, the community will respond. All right, we'll all pitch in and make sure she gets her money. But this whole banning it and like, come on, we don't feel like doing this dance and playing this game. Just tell us how much we owe you, gang bosses. All right, gang leaders, tell us how much we owe so we can pay you and get on with our lives. But let's not drag our feet in the mud here with this. All right, again, we're talking about Elizabeth Warren here. This is Matt Senator is once again smearing the crypto industry and attempting to make Americans more dependent on big banks. And don't forget, this was the same person who said the cryptocurrency industry was ran by a group of shadowy super coders. This is the same person, man. I cannot believe the balance of technology in America stands on the hands of people like Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler. That, my friends, I cannot fucking believe with a straight face. The future of American technology is sitting on the backs. I don't know. I want to look this up real quick. You're looking at Gary Gensler, 65. All right, 65-year-old Gary Gensler. And again, to be fair, not being ages here because, I mean, essentially the creators of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency ages fall between the ages like 45 to 65 realistically. So that age group is what created cryptocurrency. Okay, Elizabeth Warren is 73 years old. So a 65 and a 73-year-old duo, not including the commodities and everybody else, they're dictating to a market which the majority of participants, I think it's fair to say, are between the ages of what, 15 to 40. Like, how are you directed and dictate? Hey, y'all women can't have babies, and y'all not allowed to wear makeup no more. Like, how does this? We just like how's this working, people? It's getting crazy. This is getting crazy. But let's look at this story more. More of being told what we're going to do by our mommies and daddies in the Senate. Warren vowed in February to reintroduce the Digital Assets Anti-Money Laundering Act, a proposal that went nowhere when she first introduced it with Kansas Senator Roger Marshall in December 2022. More than likely, the reasons why she's circling back, she has somebody by the balls, the cojones. She literally probably has somebody in Congress or in the Senate that she needed some backing from or needed some help from that back then she didn't have it. She took the last 3, 4, 5 months since December to get some dirt on them. And now she came back around and was like, yeah, you're going to help me. You're going to sign this time, boy. And a couple of people looked at what she had and was like, we are going to sign it. It looks like the proposal's stated purpose is to protect Americans from scams. Please tell me how a wallet on your phone or not having a wallet on your phone that's your own can protect you from a scam. Not sure. It is more likely to drive cryptocurrency business overseas and weaken consumer choice. That's actually what's going to happen. When you do it like this, all people are going to do is try to find all the quote unquote DeFi options of wallets and everything else. And all these overseas companies that's going to offer it, those are going to be a couple of those companies will be scams. And then you will see even the bigger fallouts because those scam companies, they'll have enough expertise and actual capital to keep the scam alive. They'll have enough money to, hey, we have this new staking wallet, 120% back. And they can keep that running for 90 days, for 4 months, 6 months before the house of cards fall down. When you're talking about other countries and their sophisticated groups getting involved. And that's what these type of things do. They push people away. But again, I don't think Elizabeth Warren really cares. I think they're just honestly counting the money of the people who will actually follow this. People who will say that your own personal wallet is illegal. You have to be on an exchange. They're saying we don't care how many people it drives away. We just want that small net of Ned Flanders who will come to us and give us their money. This act will prohibit the use of digital asset mixers and require self-hosted wallets like the kind you keep on your phone, along with miners and validators to have AML policies. Many of these entities may not be able to impose such requirements, meaning they would simply need to shut down or stop servicing American users. I can tell you now, if this goes through, over 90% of the market will not be able to operate. I know, like, if there were anything like this where we had a gem in crypto had to do compliance, I'm telling you, we would shut down overnight unless they actually sent a compliance officer to work for free. Like, people, to do this AML stuff that they're talking about, they're just making it seem like people are being criminals and trying to skirt the law. It is such a money play. I cannot explain it to you. In order to properly do AML and KYC, anti-money laundering, and know your customer from the government's perspective, you need to have a compliance officer in your or on your business somewhere. They are not cheap. You're looking at a $60K type of retainer for one human being. That's one. And that's if the regulators don't say, well, the size of your company or the amount you're bringing in needs more or X, Y, and Z, or you have enough paperwork to where you need more. So let's just say we're only talking about one. Not even this sweet, like an exchange would need at least 3 to 5 of these people. But let's just say you're getting one. That's $60K. It's not just like you're going to get this compliance officer and all of a sudden, no. Now you have to go through the regulation, the licensing, the filling out of forms, whatever certificates you need. Let's add in at least an extra 25 to that, 30 to that. So right now you're looking at $90K on the low end just to get this whole AML compliance thing started. We didn't even talk about actually building the platform you need or the paperwork or XY. We're not even talking about actually getting people through doing the KYC AML, as in you have a new user, a new sign up to your company, and you need to get them processed through. We're not even talking about the cost on that one individual itself. What's the time cost on that? What's the process of that? What's the paperwork? People, compliance and AML, while yes, there are reasons for this, it does protect you, especially when you're talking about the traditional side and stuff like that. There has already been ways to skirt around it. We saw in the 2008 financial crash, and we're seeing it again right now with these banks collapsing. Like, they literally cannot regulate this stuff. So when they're talking about doing all of this for the crypto community and everything, I am telling you, it's literally a money play for them to start to bring in more bit licenses, right? Now, instead of just New York having it, we can have a nationwide bit license. We charge 15. Let's not go crazy. Let's only charge these crypto companies 4K. Come on, and that will be the narrative. The narrative will be there's no reason for you not to sign up with this regulatory body for only 4K as a crypto company. And that's how they get the nation on the board. And then every American will be like, it's only 4K. What are you hiding, guys? Why don't you want to sign up? And it's like, because it is extortion and it came out the blue. But yes, if the government were to say, hey, for every new crypto company, give us $4,000, they would be up by the end of the year every year. They will be up. Because anybody and everybody who would just think about joining the crypto space would just go ahead and pay the 4K just so they wouldn't even have any issues. But there will be no protection to come with that. So again, the stories like this are kind of crazy to me. They're trying to ban wallets. They're trying to implement AML and KYC, but they're not doing it to protect you. They are doing it because it creates more money for the government and these agencies, which is why you see the same old same. I mean, you never see like a new person in the Senate and the Congress raising any flags about this. It's the same people who keep going after the money time after time. And I want to just show you something really quick about these people as well. I want to show you something really quick. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at this. Elizabeth Warren built a $12 million fortune. Net worth $67 million possibly, if that's correct. So let's say Elizabeth Warren is somewhere north of 50 million. So she's making more than a ball player. All right. Like, Elizabeth Warren has the same amount of money as some of your favorite NBA, NFL players and your favorite Hollywood actors. Like, I want to make sure you all understand this. These people are getting their money while they're being lifelong politicians and regulators. Please explain to me, how can a lifelong politician or regulator have more money than the average private citizen? It's ridiculous. They get paid off their tax money. She should not even be able to have that much money. As far as like, how are you working in government every year, getting government money, and you're worth millions of dollars? You don't see anything wrong with that. This is how they're doing it. I'm trying to tell you, I can't beat this horse dead enough today. We're going to beat it today. This is how they do it right here, okay? This is how it's done. They either do it through these programs or these task forces with the SEC with $2.4 billion, or we do it by having to give foreign countries aid in the amounts of billions. None of this stuff is tracked, people. And again, my thing is fine. You want to add in AML, KYC? You want to have $2.4 billion go to the SEC? You want to have our taxpayer money to help a foreign country that I'll never visit, nor do I care anything about? I say okay to that. Fine, Big Daddy government. All I ask in return is for you to use Bitcoin so we can actually trace all those funds to the Satoshi. I mean, I just want to be able to trace all the money you're saying is going here and is going to help this and help that. I want to be able to trace that Satoshi, that penny. I want to be able to trace where a penny went to see exactly how it helped. I see those commercials to where you can feed a motherfucker for 14 cents a day. All right. Well, hey, I want to see what kid did that 14 cent go to? I want to know. And with Bitcoin, we can do it. So you know what, people? Do not push back against all this stuff. Just push for more transparency, and these things will disappear on their own. All right. I want somebody to go to Elizabeth Warren. Somebody go to the SEC chair and say, yes, if I can go there, I'm with you guys. You know, we do need 2.4 billion for the SEC. Elizabeth, you're right. These unhosted private wallets, trash. I say we go with your plan. How much do you need? All right, we're gonna pay it all in Bitcoin. But what's the problem? You can accept, but that's the way you do it, people. Watch how quick they'll push right. Whoa, we don't want it in Bitcoin. Well, why not? Like, that's what this is all about. To protect people, show people how to use it, show people that our government is actually using it as well. It's not just for shadowy super coders. Oh, but we can't do that because then we'll be able to trace the 2.4 billion we're giving to the SEC, and then we'll be able to figure out how, I don't know, a regulator is able to accumulate $50 million. Like, I don't know. We'll be able to find those type of questions out. They don't want that. So this is the little dangerous game that they're playing that they don't understand. That I hope more people wake up to, where it's just like, fine, you know what? They want to do X, Y, and Z. Let's let them do it. But let's make sure they do it with Bitcoin. That way, there's no question about any capital, about any funding. We can trace it all back to its inception and where it goes. And I can pretty much guarantee that won't happen. Because if that were to happen, majority of these folks would be going to prison, people. Like, they would literally go to prison. So non-starter there. Let me just check out Gary Gensler. Gary Gensler network. What's the old? Oh, come on. I'm not believing this. I am not. You all won't believe this. I'm not believing this. I hope this is wrong. I hope this is wrong. Gary Gensler's net worth is saying in this article, I hope this is wrong. Gary Gensler net worth is somewhere between 41 million and 119 million. People, again. Oh my God. Listen, people, like, I don't know how to explain this. Have you all ever heard the saying with like fighting and stuff? It's like it's hard to get up and train in silk sheets or whatever. Like, you all really believe there are people who have been lifelong politicians and regulators who have somehow accumulated millions of dollars, which is fucking near impossible to do in their position if you're just doing it off the strength of their salary. But they've been able to multiply it, forget times 10-fold, times 20-fold, right? Times 30-fold, year and year again. These are the same people asking for exorbitant amounts of money to protect you. You really believe they're here to protect you. I love it. It's comedy. It's comedy. One's worth over 40 million. The other ones are worth over 50 million. They're both asking for money, which they've done time and time again. And we keep giving it to them, and we don't know where it goes. I cannot believe this. It should be criminal. It should be criminal. Humney developer says somewhere between, that's what I'm saying, somewhere between 40 to 120 million. Somebody, JG Wentworth, said, how does a professor from MIT make that much money? Oh, it's easy. All you do to make that much money is get in the government as a politician or regulator, and then establish something where you need protections, and then create a task force, and then create funding. And the reason why we're beating this dead horse, because I've been screaming this for years, because I've been in the military. Like, I was an officer in the military, people. We get funding the same way, and everyone knows it's either use it or lose it. So this is the way it works. Really quick. I'm in a department. I say I need 100K, right? Let's say that's a low number. So let's say I need 100K, but that is a super low number. Usually it's going to be like 1.5 mil, 2.7, 3 point something, whatever. But let's just say it's 100K, right? I need 100K to get this gear for my unit, blah, blah, blah. I write it up. I get my 100K. We only spend, for example, 97K. They'll say, well, you guys don't need 100K. You actually need somewhere in the 90s or 80s. So, this is government. You can work more. You can work with more for less. So instead of even giving you 100, we're going to give you 85. You can make it work with 85. It was 97 last time. You can figure it out and save. So what people will do is, not only will they spend 100, they'll try to go overboard. And then they'll come back and say, hey, that 100 ain't nothing. Because again, you never know if you even get that 100 back. So you'll come back and say, I need 120. I need 100. I need 200. Matter of fact, I need 200. Like, well, you had 97 last year. Yeah, but we're getting more people in. landscape. But I know how to write all this stuff up, people. This is not being made believe. This is like a person who has written this up and got the funding, telling you how this thing goes. And once you have the funding, the person who's in charge of that capital can spit it out wherever they want within that unit. Now, is it supposed to be used on the proper stuff, equipment and gear and all this government mandated things? Yes. But does it always get spent like that? No. Fraud is rife. Okay. I mean, in 2013, when we had the sequestration furloughs, there was a huge military audit that happened that year for people who remember. And I remember some units I was in being a part of that audit. I mean, we ripped this place up top to bottom because equipment was missing, money was missing, so on and so forth. Turns out this is a problem throughout the entire United States military, so on and so forth. Billions of dollars lost, all of this stuff. And everyone goes back to where did the money go? Where did the equipment go? All this stuff is just disappearing in thin air. This is where it goes. Someone in all these departments, whether it's a regulator, the SEC, or someone in the military, is skimming off the top because there's so much money coming through and there's a lack of accountability. And the reason why is lack of accountability, it's not any human's fault. It's because we're using an antiquated system where everywhere there's capital being stored at, there's a human being behind it to say yes and no, this is right or this is wrong. All we're saying is that, hey, whether it's Bitcoin or another cryptocurrency, right now Bitcoin's doing the best job of this, is that by using this algorithmic technology, this blockchain, we won't have to have a human account for all this lost and stolen money. We won't have to do these in-depth audits. We'll literally be able to just pull up a website and have our answer in 3 to 4 minutes. But again, the issue with that is if you're a government employee and your game, your hustle is literally stealing funds, creating task force and stealing money, then you don't want Bitcoin. In fact, you want everything anti. You want to destroy this market. You want to destroy these you want to destroy everything that's involved with it. And that's why I point out the Elizabeth Warrens and Gary Genslers. It's not just that they're trying to get their cut. They're actually trying to destroy this because it could destroy their way of life. This will destroy their entire hustle that they've been doing now, again, for years, which is crazy to me that we have government regulators. Like, it's one thing to be a millionaire and then become a regulator, politician, and become even richer. And that's one thing. It's a totally another thing to have 30K to your name. I mean, look at the regulators and politicians now. Like, they get bribed for $2,500. Like, that's what we're talking about. So you can't have your department getting bribed for $2,500 and you worth $60 million on the back end. Like, that's crazy. Layla said, yep, I was in the military. We get all fallout money. I was in Turkey. All the money didn't get used. I had to spend. Exactly. Look, yep. Crypto King say, yep, I can vouch for that as a retired CPO. Spend. Thank you. So y'all know I'm not making it. Thank you. Everybody in the military right now is saying, yes, he's not lying. Thank you. So y'all know I'm not talking shit. We have an issue in this country, people. All right. We're going to leave it there, but we have an issue in this country. Hey, shout out to Elizabeth Warren, Gary Gensler, SEC, AML, KYC, both of them worth over $40 million. You gotta love it. You gotta love being dictated to by rich people. They sound like the people in Hollywood who virtue signal all the time. All right. I beat that horse half to death. I've been gone the last few days, and I was gonna do some talking today. All right, last main story of the day: Matt Damon is in the news, and this is hilarious, people. This is pretty hilarious to me. But Matt Damon reveals why he appeared in Crypto.com's most infamous ad. I mean, did he really have to reveal it, or do we already know it? Because I guess where the theme of today is, we already know why he did it. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. The Hollywood icon was relentlessly mocked for appearing in the ad in 2021, which was released just before the crypto markets plummeted. That's right. Matt Damon has finally opened up on why he appeared in cryptocurrency exchanges. Crypto.com's infamous Fortune Favors the Brave advertisement, which was once the subject of relentless mockery. Speaking to the Associated Press on March 27th at the premiere of his new film, Damon appeared somewhat abashed as he explained his reason for appearing in the ad. He said it was mainly because his clean water initiative, water.org, was in dire financial circumstances. Excuse me, I said that all wrong. Was in dire financial circumstances, explaining, quote, "We had a down year in water.org, and I did that commercial in an attempt to raise money for water.org. Thank you, Matt Damon, for proving what I tell some of the unintelligent people who occasionally watch us and claim to be our supporters on our channel. And that was crypto advertising was coming and no one was stopping it. And you all saw LeBron. Was it Tom Brady, one of my favorites? Steph Curry. I mean, literally, if you had a favorite, Larry David, they were in a crypto commercial with Matt Damon starting that charge. And I'm glad to see him come out and explain why. People, yeah, I know that this one I know is about to be triggered. So trigger alert, trigger. All right, I'm gonna say this. I know most of you still won't believe it, and I'm not even gonna go into detail, so I'm not gonna mess up my money for you all. But here's the thing: if it's on the big box, you remember that you say if it's on the box, it's fake people. If it's on television, I'm telling you now, if it's on television and even the internet for the most part, depending on the type of company that's holding, I'm trying to say, essentially depending on the type of, I can't think of the right words, depending on the type of company and money being spent. Essentially, the grander the production, the more you better believe they're all actors, there's all scripted. Essentially, especially on TV, I think it's like just carte blanche across all TV. Internet, it gets a little trickier because it's new and it's harder to regulate. If a face is not blurred, it's scripted, people, period. If a face isn't blurred, there is some acting going on, whether that person is an actual actor or not. If that face is not blurred, there's some script going on, people. I'm sorry to tell you, it's the truth. It's illegal to have people on TV without getting cleared. So anywhere you see someone on TV and their face is not blurred, they're in on it. They are in on it, people. I hate to tell you this. So I say all that to say, Matt Damon explained this and did what he was supposed to do. He's an actor. He got hired to do a crypto commercial. Crypto, I don't know what that is, but this is what I do. I do water shit. So as long as it brings in capital for my water shit, then whatever. I do commercials every day, bro. Let's go. Like, that is what it was. That's the top and bottom of it. He doesn't have to tell you. Tom Brady, Steph Curry, all these people don't have to tell you. Soldier Boy, like the game, the people you shouldn't be looking at for crypto financial advice anyway. They don't have to tell you that, hey, I'm being paid to do this. It's called commercials. Matt Damon doesn't wake up and say, hey, guys, I got paid to do a Nestle chocolate commercial yesterday, and they pay me $100K. I just want to let everybody know that I don't really eat chocolate. I'm actually allergic, but they pay me to do it. He doesn't do it for Nestle chocolate. So you don't have to do it for this either. Like, let's make sure we're clear on this. This is how Hollywood works. If it's on the TV, it's fake. All right. Period. Point blank. All right. So let's get that out the way. I'm glad Matt Damon came out and said what he said. And the second thing is, this goes to what we've been saying when it comes to following all these, celebrities and stuff. Like, first, Kevin O'Leary, to me, he was the most egregious because he literally was anti-Bitcoin, anti-crypto. And then literally in the middle of the week, he was like, yeah, I love Bitcoin. Y'all should buy it. So to me, if that's not a red flag enough, like Matt Damon and the rest of these folks are the same. They came out the blue, and then one day they were like, yeah, something crypto, and they had a big platform backing them. People, stop listening to all those folks. There are a ton of great people in the space who aren't the celebs, who have smaller followings, who know exactly what they're doing. All right, try to look for those folks. All right, getting back to Matt Damon. Shout out to Matt Damon for being real. He was like, crypto, man, water.org was about to fail, and I just need to make some money. This is the one that came across the slate. They get to talk about the Clean Water Project. He explained he wants giving his whole salary to water.org. Here's the thing I will say, though, to play devil's advocate. He might have just did it for the money, not for the water.org. And he could be using water.org now that it went belly up as like his little safe haven. Like, guys, I did it to save the world, man. I didn't rob and scam people just for fun. Like, I did it for a reason. I did it to help people, right? Not saying that he did. I'm just making the point. The Hollywood icon continued to say that crypto.com heard about that and they gave $1 million. Wow. Stop it, Matty boy. I can't even believe this. Crypto.com gave $1 million to water.org just on their own. Before adding, I definitely have a lot of gratitude to them and for what they did for our foundation. All right, here it is. Forget playing devil advocate. I got to call Cap. Matt Damon. Cappity cap, Matt Damon. All right, I almost believed him. You remember, I just played devil's advocate. I was like, what if he was just saying water.org just to clear his name? He was, people. I hate to say it. Listen, here's the reason why. Now that I read more into his article, you know I read these articles live with you all. For him to say with a straight face, they just gave $1 million. Crypto.com just gave $1 million to water.org on their own. I mean, I didn't have to tell him anything. So that tells me two things, Matty boy. For one, it tells me they gave $1 million to water.org and they also paid you. That's what that tells me, because you said they did that on their own. I know you ain't working for free. You're not doing commercials on your own because your agent in Hollywood don't even, you're a union. The union don't work like that, Matty boy. So I know how the game goes. You were paid for that commercial and they gave $1 million. So essentially, Matt Damon got 1 point something plus $1 million at a minimum from crypto.com. Holy fucking shit, Matt Damon, you are in bed, buddy. Don't get to water.org now. You might as well get to being like, I believe in crypto.com in this vision. You are in bed. You are in bed. You are in bed. You might listen. Hey, ride the wave, Matt. Remember who paid the bills, who kept you alive, and ride this wave. Do not turn your back on this company. And that's a person saying it that, you all know, I don't think crypto.com is going to make it. I think they're the next one that should have already gone. They shouldn't have the house that Kobe built name on it. I don't know who works for them. I really haven't heard of them being around. They're just here, and they had funding where nobody knows where from. And of course, if you don't know them, they actually used to be, I can't even think of the name. It was like, what is it? I can't even think of the name off the top of my head, but crypto.com used to have a whole nother name, Monaco. They used to be called Monaco before they rebranded to crypto.com. And Monaco claimed they have everybody with crypto credit cards by now, and so on and so forth. Monaco's entire roadmap was a 180 from crypto.com, yet crypto.com is here with a lot of money and they're not being regulated. So I say, Matt Damon, you already chose the side. You chose the wrong side. Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Matt Damon, Kevin O'Leary, same, all the same. And I don't feel bad because, again, they should be allowed to get their bag. And people have the opportunity to invest in who they want and follow who they want. So if you chose to follow Matt Damon and Kevin O'Leary and Logan and Jake Paul and Soldier Boy and Game and Mayweather, keep doing it. Listen, I love Darwinism. I love Darwinism even in the digital space. And I hope all these people keep doing it because it just keeps getting these folks out the market. And I'd rather have them out the market than in it anyway. So crazy to see this. But again, that was Matt Damon. Talking about that crypto.com ad. Water.org got, they just gave him $1 million. I don't know. Everybody, hey, listen, if that's the case too, and again, this is where I want to be clear at, where we keep saying, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the celebrity. Maybe it's the capital that these celebrities are pumping back into these markets as far as marketing strategies go. But I have no clue how people like Matt Damon and shame. And that's how I know, once again, crypto.com Scammer of the Year award is going to come out soon. This is a tall tale sign. Why is a crypto company giving $1 million to a water company? Come on, man. And the water company is being led by a Hollywood A-list actor. Have you not seen the, I think it was the Larry David shows. I think it was Larry David, but it could have been one of these other Hollywood shows. But Matt Damon is like a celebrity guest, and he gets people like to basically sign off on his, like on his, I don't know if it's water.org, but on one of his projects he's working on to give back, he gets like all the other actors to sign off. He's like, no, you got more than 50K. Give me 100K. Like, come on. Like Ballers did it too. I think Ballers had it. Whenever they have a celebrity come, like, I know you got more money than that. You can, my point is, he's an A-list celebrity with an A-list contact list in his phone book. He doesn't need crypto.com to give him $1 million to this project. Crypto.com, you should be giving the crypto community $1 million to their projects. So when I don't see that happening, I see it going in other directions. That's how I already know. Hey, people, FTX did the same thing. People, FTX. Oh yeah, we're gonna spend this money on real estate. We're gonna spend this money on this on Robinhood. And it's like, why aren't you spending your money back in the crypto market? It's because they're trying to get it out of the market, people. They're trying to have that real estate, no pun intended, position other markets where their capital can grow and gain value as well. So I'm calling cap not only on Matt Damon, but also on crypto.com. But crypto.com doesn't surprise me. Like, we've been calling it for them. At this point, we're just literally waiting for them to collapse. And it will actually be interesting when they do collapse, because I don't think that many people are that wrapped up in it. So I don't think the market would really be affected by it as much as it would just be a quick dip. But they're going to collapse. Mark my words. Like, the moment a regulator says, let's take a deeper look here, it's gone. But what's even more interesting is that the reason why they might be going so long, and the reason why they haven't had that magnifying glass put up to them is because they're actually paying these regulators. You all need to really think about how big crypto.com is. They have their name on the Staples Center, people, and no regulators talking about them. Coinky dink? I think not. I think not. So they're definitely paying their bills on time. We'll say that. And they know every special investigator out there. But even then, I'm telling you, folks, unless this next bull market goes crazy and they do right as far as on their trading end, one slip up, crypto.com is next. They are not far off. All right, last but not least, we're going to be talking about VeriDAO. Of course, that's Reggie Middleton's. I'm not sure if he's actually an active member or if he runs it, but of course, this was the DAO for Veritasium, Reggie Middleton's project. We all know what happened with that back in the day. When we reported on it, we said we thought it was unjust and it looked a little fishy that the SEC came down on Reggie Middleton. If you remember, they said, hey, Veritasium essentially breaking all types of security laws, fraudulent stuff, blah, blah, blah. Reggie Middleton did not admit or deny wrongdoing. So that's, essentially he didn't say he was innocent or guilty. He paid the SEC. And to us, I remember we reported on that story because for those who watched this from the beginning, we used to have the show Best Altcoins We Buy, where literally when altcoins were doing ICOs, we were going in and getting those live and showing you how to do that. And it was a lot of fun, actually. Like, that was a wild time in space. But we remember Veritasium came out. We did that project. We looked at that one. We covered Reggie Middleton back in the day before we even knew him. We were like, hey, this is an interesting project, precious metals on the blockchain, blah, blah, blah. But our point was we were looking, like we paid attention to the project, and it was interesting for sure. So it was very interesting that the day the SEC shut them down, not even 24 hours later, the next morning, I think like Paxos Gold or something launched, and they were doing the exact same thing Reggie Middleton Veritasium was 24 hours after the SEC shut down Reggie Middleton Veritasium. So to us, like covering this every day, it was like, and this is before we knew Reggie Middleton personally. We didn't even know him. This was just like, oh, this is a guy in the space. He's creating projects. He's doing interesting things. He's in this space and he's talking about this stuff. We just thought he was an interesting person to look at, interesting project to look at. We did invest in it at the time. So it's not like we were thrilled when the SEC shut it down, but you do know we're objective. We don't gang bang these projects. It wasn't like, oh, Veritasium. No, we didn't go crazy. It was like, oh, another one bites the dust for us. But again, the next day when Paxos launched, it was just like, no one bites the dust. But how's y'all still the ideal the next day after the SEC just shut this one down? Like, how is this? And then we did more digging and found out they were backed by Circle, which was backed by Goldman Sachs. And this is like, y'all doing the exact same thing this other dude was that y'all just shut down. Like, how is this possible? So I say all that to say, it looks like VeriDAO also thinks something is wrong. They're coming out. They're asking, for the public's help. I'll read these tweets here. VeriDAO thread. You can see the DAO _Veri is concerned that there is systemic prejudice, if not racism, at the SEC Gov and the Justice Department. Ask yourself why there are less than 1% African-American entrepreneurs participating in the space, and most of these have been prosecuted. He then goes on to say, Reggie Middleton deserves to have his story told in front of the House of Representatives. Join us in a letter writing campaign to bring awareness of this travesty. DAO Veri urges you to write your representative and Senate because the future of our nation is at stake. So first, I'll say this. You all know me. Again, unless it's like super direct or I can really see it, I probably pull the race card less than most people out there. And I would say in this case, I will not pull it. And here's why. Like, for one, there's not like a lot of African-American entrepreneurs in this space regardless. So, I mean, honestly, if anybody who's African-American or a woman for that matter in this space were to get, pushed by the government, regulators, SEC, politicians, anything of that sort, that will already be a percent of that population because it's such a small population. So that's what I think, first of all. Secondly, I also say, they've been like, they got Charlie Shrim when he was 24 years old back in 2013 or something like that, right? If you remember, Charlie Shrim was in New York. He essentially had one of the first exchanges. They claim one person used this exchange to do something criminal with it. And of course, the pushback was like, yo, people use the ATMs, get cash and go buy drugs. How you going to say they did it from a crypto one and all of a sudden it's a bad thing? Didn't matter. Charlie Shrim was like 23, 24 years old. I think he's like Jewish or something like that. Yeah, they threw his ass in prison. Caught me off guard with that one too. Of course, let's not talk about the double life sentence from Ross Ulbricht. So no, I have to push back on the race thing. I don't think it's a race. I think it's a mind thing, Reggie. And Reggie's one of those people where he may be so intelligent he doesn't see it himself, but you're a threat to the government the same way some of these developers who are creating these mixers are a threat. The same way anyone who wore glasses in Pol Pot's Cambodian regime was a threat. Anybody with intelligence to that regime was a threat. So I'm going to say it's not systemic racism, but there is systemic prejudice against intellectuals. So I think if anything, VeriDAO, that's the that might be the path you take more than the racist part. It should be more of the like, yes, there is prejudice, but it's against intellects right now. Anyone who's creating and innovating in this space is being systemically targeted. So I agree with the systemic prejudice and the targeting. I just don't agree with the race part. That's neither here or there. That was just my thoughts on that. What is important is the actual letter. So let's bring up the letter. And I do think he does deserve his day in front of Congress, people. Like, I want to be clear about that. Again, I wouldn't take the race direction. However, I do understand how powerful that is, especially right now, and the type of war that unfortunately Reggie has to wage and fight right now. Hey, fuck it. This is if you ever was going to throw it, now's the time to throw the race card, baby. So you know what? In the court of law, I'll back you on that. Listen, information can be biased any way you want it to be. As easily, I just said that one thing. I could create a debate to say the other. So I'm not mad at you if that's like the play you're playing to win this war. But again, what's more important above all this is not whether it's for racism or this or that and the other. The fact is that he got his company shut down in 24 hours. A competing company popped up that was backed by the powers that be. Yeah, he should have his day in Congress. I think he should have his day in Congress. And let's make this happen. One of the ways to make this happen is by submitting and signing this paper and giving it to your senator representative. You can see it here. Greetings, Senator Representative. You put that name there. I am writing to share a matter concerning an egregious action taken by the SEC against an African-American visionary who holds 1 U.S. patent and 2 Japanese patents on a technology that's already revolutionizing the way that finances are transferred worldwide. My hope is that you reach out to him and give him an opportunity to share a story. It is an American story, that one that unfortunately opens old wounds where inventions were stolen, patents co-opted, and land titles misappropriated. This is not the America that reflects innovation, property rights, and competition in the marketplace. It is not America that honors industry, imagination, and integrity. It is not the forward-looking America. I'm not sure what can be done since the regulation by enforcement action has already caused great financial ruin to Mr. Middleton and irreparable harm to his family, but he needs to be able to share his story with individuals like yourself who understand the struggle and will appreciate it and will work to ensure that what happened to him will never happen again. It is just a world, at the very least, Mr. Middleton, in a just world, at the very least, Mr. Middleton would like to have an opportunity to share a story before a congressional or Senate hearing, but a conversation with you would be a good place to start. I'm not sure that with all that you are exposed to, anything will surprise you, but the idea of a government agency destroying someone's life under the pretext of consumer protection when they appear to be protecting the interests of a wealthy few is not what free enterprise is supposed to be about. As a concerned American witnessing a great deal of racism today is all the more egregious. It brings up the memory of Black Wall Street in Rosewood, Florida. It shouldn't happen to anyone, but with all that we have endured as a people, we continue to endure. My question to you is this: what do we tell our children? For context's sake, if you Google Reggie Middleton, you'll find a lot of information and misinformation. I only ask that you give him a moment to tell a story and that you'll see his American story, the end of which is yet future. So a couple of things, he put his number in where you can reach him at. A couple of things. One thing I will say is, again, the last few couple sentences in that paragraph, the Black Wall Street, the Rosewood and stuff. Again, I get it going and not just going from that, you know, Reggie's older, so this more than likely is strongly how he feels as well. He's like, yeah, he might probably be like, no, they being racist, bro. Like, I ain't just thinking that or saying it. I'm saying it because they are. So if that's his viewpoint, whatever. But from my viewpoint, again, especially to get as many people behind him as possible, like just emptying out the race part of it, because anyone can sign this fill this out, sign it, and send it in, which we all encourage. And we encourage you because just getting away from the race part of it, staying on the technology part of it. He does have the patents, yes. And that's one. Two, on our channel also, there has been some back and forth. Did he do any wrong? Did he not do any wrong? So on and so forth. Well, here's a guy that's saying, yo, I'm willing to sit in front of Congress and tell y'all I ain't do no wrong. Let's have it. Fill out these papers, submit them. For the cryptonomics who didn't believe Reggie, you should be filling out this as well. If you're one of those people who do not believe Reggie Middleton, you think he was fraudulent, scamming, or whatever, fill this out as well, because now we can get him in front of Congress or a Senate. And if you do believe in Reggie Middleton and VeriTasium and DAO, and you do think there was some wrongdoing, fill this out so we can get them in front of them and we can hear his story. And regardless if you believe in VeriTasium or not, or like that project, whatever, the patents are real. So if you just want to see what happens in a patent struggle and a patent war here in America, fill this out, get them in front of Congress and the Senate so he can pull up them patents and be like, what are we doing about this? I told Coinbase they owe me $300 million. I want to see it live, people. All right. So make sure you fill this out. Send this in to your representative, congressional representative, or your Senate, of course, as well. And let's see if we can get Reggie Middleton in front of Congress. I think this would be a big thing for the industry. Huge for the industry, not only because of the things that he's been through himself personally, but the things he can shed light to as far as like industry-wide practices. Let's not forget, he has done a lot of due diligence and homework on a lot of platforms and projects out here who we try to tell you on the front end, hey, there's some issues. We're seeing big issues. And it's like, we aren't doing the homework to where it's like, I found everything wrong with this project. I've written it down and blah, blah, blah. And here, X, Y, and Z. We're not doing that. That's not our business. Our business is analyzing and reporting on it. But Reggie's business is actually analyzing and actually keeping data on this stuff. So now you have a person who has the data points on these things, who actually has the evidence to say, no, these aren't just people talking. Here's the wash trade. This is how you know it's being wash trade or whatever. So I can't wait. I think this would be huge news for the community if he actually went in front of Congress to see what happens. So let's fill that out. Actually, it's already filled out. So all you have to do is just put your congressional person name or whoever in there, mail it or email it. I'm pretty sure they can do email now. So we're looking at like 5 minutes of time right now. So put it in the 5 or 10 minutes. Let's see if we can get them in front of them and see what happens next. All right, last few comments. Alipio said, must be a good show. Yeah, I'm talking forever. You all know I miss some days, so I get to talking. Let's see. There we go. Reggie Middleton says, I think it says a lot to hear the so-called defrauded take the so-called fraudsters back in such a big way. Again, I am not a member of the DAO. I had nothing to do with this letter. I am proud, though. All right, so shout out to Reggie. He said he's not a member of this DAO. He doesn't have anything to do with it, and he is proud. And again, whether, I'm still with the DAO as well, I would like to get this story in front of Congress. I do think this is important because, that's what he said. Reggie Middleton said, be aware. Yeah, that's a good point. Reggie said, be aware that the VeriDAO consists almost solely of the so-called defrauded. You all, yeah, that's true. You all have to remember the whole SEC decision trying to shut down VeriTasium was for protection of consumers. They were saying great point. I mean, I was bought into VeriTasium. I didn't feel like I needed protecting. Hey, it's like a pimp walk up to you on the store. Y'all here by yourself? No, it's like, yeah, bro, it's a free country. I'm outside. There's like little dangers out. Like, I didn't think so. Then they start putting their arm around you like, no, it's dangerous out. You need my help and protection. Like, oh, what the fuck is you doing, bro? Get your arm off me. This is real weird stuff going on. So I'm with you, Reggie. Like, I was actually a member of VeriTasium as well, not the DAO, but the project. And I never felt like I needed protection. And the SEC thing caught me off guard as well. So great point. He said the VeriDAO consists solely of the defrauded. So why would they even protect them? That's a good point. Great point. People, like I said, this thing has been going on enough for years. It's back and forth with Reggie Middleton, the things that happen at VeriTasium. It does deserve, and not just him. I say every company the SEC has essentially attacked or went after in the crypto space since 2016. I think they all need to be under review. We've clearly seen Gary Gensler and his thought making, his decision making process is not good. He doesn't have a lot of reasons of the companies he's going after, other than the laws that we've decided for older things we're applying to this new thing, and we're going to make them fall under it or else. Like, that's the only thing how Gary's been operating. He hasn't got any American vote behind him to do anything he's doing. So let's have the day in court and let's see. Let's see. What else do we have? Price Cops. Oh, good point. Price Cop says, except a black guy cannot likely do an FTX type of scam, even with black parents who are lawyers. That's a point for that one. Jake Fever said, didn't he and his lawyers have their day in court in front of the SEC and lost, patent office and won? What would Congress do? So I have to ask Reggie about that because I'm not actually clear exactly how that went down. But I don't think he had his day in court per se and lost because he settled. You remember, if you settle, he didn't admit wrongdoing or deny it. He settled. So I'm not sure if he actually had his day in court, as you mentioned, but he's in the comments. I'm sure he'll let us know right there. Let's see. What else do we have going on in these comments section? I saw a lot of people talking about that Matt Damon cap. You already knew Matt Damon. I did it for the water, folks. I did it for the water. Humney said even The Bachelor is manipulated heavy. Oh man, listen. If it's any type of reality TV, when I tell you it's manipulated, this is literally what they do in between every cut. What was that thing you were talking about earlier? Like, what do you mean? You mentioned the woman in that thing. Yeah, talk more about that. Go more about it. Go. Like, that's literally what they do for all the reality shows. So yes, like that's all. Let's see. Most people don't even know reality TV shows have writers. yeah. People, believe me, if they're on TV, again, internet so, but they're on the television and that face is not blurred. Even the jail shows, people, they all of them, all them jail shows, they all got to sign a whatever, like a thing that you're licensed to be on, your face to be on TV. You can't just have people face on TV, man. Think about this, people. Nestle has a hold on all the water in Michigan, and Flint couldn't get fresh water, right? Matt Damon pushing this water thing, like it's all a big money game. You think with all these regulations and all these markets that are being regulated and all this money that's going around, that TV isn't regulated to the umpteenth degree at this point? Man, you can't regulate TV no more than it's regulated right now. With that being said, no, there is no face on TV that haven't signed a consent release letter to be allowed to be on there, which means they're in on it. 5252 Crypto, thank you for the tip for the day. Much appreciate that. Let's see. S1 Dubs, that is true as well. Politicians make money by trading using insider information. If you are privy to laws, amendments, you can trade against them. Insider trading at its best. You already know it. All right. Other than that, that is the show for today. You all know I had to go long. I saw Bitcoin Zay went long. We both had to go long, so we missed a couple of days. But as always, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check out some of these other amazing shows on the channel, of course. Last few comments I'm going to take a peek at. JG Wentworth said, whoever said Damon Inu won a day, that would be pretty funny. Damon Inu as well. And last but not least, let's see. So what does that count for news too, as far as showing people faces? So it depends. I know what you mean. If they're like background, no, not really. And that's only because they have this thing where there's almost like the fight is like technically they're not a recognizable figure. A. B, also news, no, because technically reporting the news isn't supposed to be like a monetization thing, even though news itself are a business. But that I would say news does get a little tricky. But then even then, by and large, I'm telling you, if they're on TV, like they signed a consent release waiver, even if it was a camera before they were being interviewed, saying like, is it okay for us to interview you? You'll often see that behind the scenes. Is it okay for us to interview you? If they say yes and that's on camera, that is the same as signing a consent release waiver. So maybe they didn't sign it, but all they had to do is ask you before they put you on that. Is they have you on camera saying they'll edit it out. That way the public doesn't see it, but it'll be on the back end and they'll keep it in their records. They'll always keep it in their records. And yeah, that's how it works. So possibly even the news too, but I'm telling you, if it's on TV, folks, it's damn near like everybody's in on it. I'm telling you. So there it is. All right. Smash that like and share. Today was a great day. We'll see you all tomorrow for Fuck Bitcoin Friday. It looks like this weather is improving in LA. If you saw earlier, I didn't have any clouds or anything. It was just straight dark. So hopefully it gets a lot better. We'll see you tomorrow with some more news. Smash that like and share.